Hello everyone, myself Dr. Manjula SV, Assistant Professor of Sociology, Government First Grade College, Varthur, Bangalore North University. Today I am dealing with the subject non-core paper titled Culture, Diversity and Society. Culture, Diversity and Society for 3rd and 5th semester students. Unit 2, Family, Caste, Village and Women in India, session number 26, and the discussion for today's topic is rural-urban migration and gender discrimination. The objectives of today's session is to know the meaning of migration, to know the meaning and definitions of rural-urban migration, to know the types of migration, to understand the causes of rural-urban migration. Rural-urban migration. Migration processes have been existent throughout all times and in all religions of the world. The movement of people from one place to another to stay on for a considerable period of time for various reasons is known as migration. It is one of the three components of the population change, the other two being mortality and fertility. Here we can see that migration is one of the important movement existing in the society. The movement of people from one place to another in search of job or in search of marriage or anything, the migration takes place. It might be of various reasons. Migration is associated with the socio-economic development of the country. In India, one of the side effects of unprecedented population growth is industrialization and economic development, which helped in a rapid increase in internal migratory movement. ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ನಗರ ವಲಸೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರದೇಶದಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪ್ರದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ಥಳದಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ಥಳಕ್ಕೆ ನಿರ್ದಿಷ್ಟ ಕಾಲಾವಧಿಗೆ ಹೋಗುವುದನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಚಲಿಸುವುದನ್ನ ನಾವು ವಲಸೆ ಅಂತ ಕರಿಬಹುದು. ಇದು ಜನಸಂಖ್ಯಾ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗೆ ಕಾರಣವಾಗಿರುವ 3 ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಅಂಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವಲಸೆ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದಾಗಿದೆ. ಇನ್ನು 2 ಮರಣ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಮತ್ತು ಜನನ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿದೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ವಲಸೆಯು ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಬೆರೆತು ಹೋಗಿದೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣವಾಗಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಕೈಗಾರೀಕರಣ ಮತ್ತು ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಗಳು ವಲಸೆಗೆ ಕಾರಣವಾಗಿರುವ ಅಂಶಗಳಾಗಿವೆ. Now we can look into the definitions. Rural-urban migration refers to the movement of people from rural areas or countryside to urban areas of the same country in search of new opportunities and lifestyles. ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ನಗರ ವಲಸೆ ಎಂದರೆ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಜನರು ಕೃಷಿ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಿಂದ ಕೃಷಿಯೇತರ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಲಿಡುತ್ತಿರುವುದು ಹಾಗೂ ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳಿಂದ ಪಟ್ಟಣ ನಗರಗಳ ಕಡೆಗೆ ವಲಸೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಿರುವುದನ್ನು ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ನಗರ ವಲಸೆ ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯಬಹುದಾಗಿದೆ. Here the main intention behind rural urban migration is in fetch of new opportunities and lifestyles, people moving from rural areas to urban areas. Rural-urban migration is a form of so-called internal migration. Here we have to look into the word internal migration is nothing but the movement within the country, and which says in contrast to international or intercontinental migration. Here it is a form of so-called internal migration, which means a movement within a country and which stays in contrast to opposite to international and intercontinental migration. ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ನಗರ ವಲಸೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಆಂತರಿಕ ವಲಸೆ. ಇದು ದೇಶದ ಒಳಗಡೆನೆ ಕಂಡುಬರುವಂತಹ ವಲಸೆಯಾಗಿದೆ. Now let us look into the types of migration. According to M.S.A. Rao, the types of migration are as follows. Firstly, we can see that internal migration. The movement of people from one region to another within the country is known as internal migration. Internal migration can be of different forms or types. It can be from rural to rural migration, rural to urban migration, urban to urban migration, and urban to rural migration can be seen. Means ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಂತರಿಕ ವಲಸೆ ಅನ್ನುವುದು ಜನರು ದೇಶದ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ಭಾಗದಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಭಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಚಲಿಸುವುದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಆಂತರಿಕ ವಲಸೆ ಅಂತ ಕರಿಬಹುದು. ಆಂತರಿಕ ವಲಸೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ವಿವಿಧ ರೂಪಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಾಣಬಹುದು. ಗ್ರಾಮದಿಂದ ಗ್ರಾಮಕ್ಕೆ ವಲಸೆ ಹೋಗುವುದು, ಗ್ರಾಮದಿಂದ ನಗರಕ್ಕೆ ವಲಸೆ ಹೋಗುವುದು, ನಗರದಿಂದ ನಗರಕ್ಕೆ ವಲಸೆ ಹೋಗುವುದು, ನಗರದಿಂದ ಗ್ರಾಮಕ್ಕೆ ವಲಸೆ ಹೋಗುವಂತ ಪ್ರಕಾರಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಆಂತರಿಕ ವಲಸೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಬಹುದು. External migration. Migration from one country to another country is known as external migration. ಬಾಹ್ಯ ವಲಸೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಬಾಹ್ಯ ವಲಸೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಿವಿಧ ರಾಜ್ಯ, ದೇಶ ಅಥವಾ ಖಂಡಕ್ಕೆ ವಲಸೆ ಹೋಗುವುದನ್ನು ಬಾಹ್ಯ ವಲಸೆ ಅಂತ ಕರೆಯಬಹುದು. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ಭಾರತದಿಂದ ವಿದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗುವುದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬಾಹ್ಯ ವಲಸೆ ಅಂತ ಕರಿಬಹುದು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಎಮಿಗ್ರೇಷನ್. ಇಟ್ ರೆಫರ್ಸ್ ಟು ದ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ. ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಅಥವಾ ಸಮೂಹಗಳು ಒಂದು ದೇಶದಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ತಾತ್ಕಾಲಿಕ ಅವಧಿಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ಶಾಶ್ವತವಾಗಿ ನೆಲೆಸುವುದನ್ನ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ವಲಸೆ ಹೋಗುವುದು ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯಬಹುದು. We can call it as a emigration. Next, immigration. It refers to the movement into a particular country. ಪ್ರದೇಶದಿಂದ ವಲಸೆ ಬರುವುದು. ತಮ್ಮ ಸ್ವಂತ ದೇಶವನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಸಮೂಹಗಳು ತಮಗೆ ಶಾಶ್ವತವಾಗಿ ನೆಲೆ ನಿಲ್ಲಲು ಸೂಕ್ತವಾದ ಹೊಸ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳನ್ನು ಹುಡುಕಿಕೊಂಡು ದೇಶವೊಂದಕ್ಕೆ ವಲಸೆ ಬರುವುದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಿಂದ ವಲಸೆ ಬರುವುದು ಅಥವಾ ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ವಲಸೆ ಅಂತ ಕರಿಬಹುದಾಗಿದೆ. Yes, there are certain terms. Migration stream. It refers to the total number of moves made during a given migration interval which have a common area of origin and common area of destination. Gross and net migration. It is the total number of arrivals of migrants and departures of emigrants is known as gross migration. Net migration is the difference between the total number of persons who arrive and the total number of persons who live. Now let us look into the causes of rural-urban migration. ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ನಗರ ವಲಸೆಗೆ ಕಾರಣವಾಗಿರುವ ಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಬಹುದು. Rural urban migration may be caused due to economic, social, political factors. We look into the following. Firstly, marriage. Marriage is very important social factor of migration. Every girl has to migrate to her in-laws' place of residence after marriage. Thus, most of the female population of India has to migrate over short or long distance due to marriage. ವಿವಾಹ ಒಂದು ಮೂಲಭೂತ ಕಾರಣವಾಗಿದೆ. ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ನಗರ ವಲಸೆಗೆ ಕಾರಣವಾಗಿರುವ ಅಂಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವಿವಾಹವು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದಾಗಿದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಯ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ವಿವಾಹ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಹುಡುಗಿ ತನ್ನ ಗಂಡನ ಮನೆಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ತನ್ನ ಅತ್ತೆಯ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗುವಂತ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಡು ಬಂದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಮದುವೆ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಹುಡುಗಿ ವಲಸೆಯನ್ನ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಾಳೆ. ಇದು ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಸಮಯಕ್ಕಾದ್ರೂ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ದೀರ್ಘಾವಧಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಕಂಡು ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಕಂಡು ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್. People migrate in large number from rural to urban areas due to employment. In search of employment opportunities, people leave rural areas and go in search of jobs to urban areas. The agricultural base of rural areas does not provide employment to all the people living in the villages. Even the small scale and cottage industries of the villages fail to provide employment to the entire rural folk. Contrary to this, urban areas provide vast scope for employment in industries, trade, transport and services. ಉದ್ಯೋಗ. ಬಹುತೇಕ ಜನರು ವಲಸೆ ಹೋಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಿಂದ ನಗರ ಪ್ರದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ವಲಸೆ ಹೋಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೂಲ ಕಾರಣವೇ ಉದ್ಯೋಗವನ್ನು ಹುಡುಕಿಕೊಂಡು. ಕೃಷಿಯನ್ನು ಅವಲಂಬಿಸಿರುವಂತಹ ಜನಗಳು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳು ದೊರೆಯದ ಕಾರಣ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ನಗರ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳಿಗೆ ವಲಸೆ ಹೋಗುವುದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಾಣ್ತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗೆ ಗ್ರಾಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಡು ಬರುವಂತಹ ಗುಡಿ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳು ಗ್ರಾಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜನರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಉದ್ಯೋಗವನ್ನು ಒದಗಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗದೇ ಇರುವಂಥ ಕಾರಣ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಿಂದ ನಗರ ಪ್ರದೇಶದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಜನರನ್ನು ಕೈಬೀಸಿ ಕರೆಯುತ್ತಿರುವಂತಹ ಅಂಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳು, ವ್ಯಾಪಾರ, ವಹಿವಾಟು, ಸಂಪರ್ಕ ಸಾಧನಗಳು ಜನರನ್ನು ವಲಸೆ ಹೋಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರೇರೇಪಿಸ್ತಿದ್ದಾವೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೋದು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್, ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ. Rural areas by and large lack educational facilities, especially those of higher education, and for this reason rural people migrate to urban areas. Many of them settle down in the cities for earning and their livelihood after completing their education. ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವು ಒಂದು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ಕಾರಣವಾಗಿದೆ. ಏಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಉನ್ನತ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನು ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೂಲಭೂತ ಸೌಕರ್ಯಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರುವಂಥ ಕಾರಣ ಜನರು ನಗರದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಮುಖ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುವುದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಹಾಗೆ ಓದು ಮುಗಿದ ನಂತರವೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಮರಳಿ ಗ್ರಾಮಕ್ಕೆ ಬರದೇ ಇರುವುದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಕಾಣ್ಬೋದು. ಏಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಿದ್ಯೆಗೆ ತಕ್ಕದಾದಂತಹ ಉದ್ಯೋಗಗಳನ್ನು ಹುಡುಕಿಕೊಂಡು ಸಹ ಜನ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಗ್ರಾಮದಲ್ಲಿನೇ ವಾಸ ಮಾಡುವುದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಾಣ್ಬೋದಾಗಿದೆ. ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ. Political disturbances and inter-ethnic conflicts drive people away from their homes. Large number of people have migrated out of Jammu and Kashmir and Assam during the last few years due to disturbed conditions over there. People also migrate in a short-term basis in search of better opportunities for recreation, healthcare facilities, and legal advisors, or for availing service which the nearby towns provide. ಭದ್ರತೆಯ ಕೊರತೆ. ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಭದ್ರತೆಯ ಕೊರತೆಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಕಾರಣವಾಗಿದೆ. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗೊಮ್ಮೆ ಇವಾಗೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕಂಡು ಬರುವಂತಹ ವ್ಯಾಜ್ಯಗಳು ಮತ್ತೆ ಸರಿಯಾದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗದೇ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಮನೋರಂಜನೆಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಆರೋಗ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾದಂಥ ಮೂಲಭೂತ ಸೌಕರ್ಯಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರುವಂಥ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದ ಜನರು ನಗರ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಮುಖ ಮಾಡಿರುವುದನ್ನು, ವಲಸೆ ಹೋಗುವುದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಾಣಬಹುದಾಗಿದೆ. ಪುಷ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪುಲ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್. The factors that attract or pull people to urban areas is known as pull factors. Urban centers provide vast scope for employment opportunities in industries, transport, trade, and other services. They also offer a better education, better standard of living with modern amenities. Thus, they act as magnets for the migrant population or attract people from outside. The factors that force people to go out of the rural areas are known as push factors. These factors include unemployment and underemployment, low wages, poverty, lack of education facilities, housing problem, caste system, healthcare facilities, natural disasters, drought or famine, conflicts, etc. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಗ್ರಾಮದಿಂದ ತಳ್ಳುವ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಪುಷ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಗ್ರಾಮದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಆಕರ್ಷಿಸುವಂತಹ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ಪುಲ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಕೆಲವು ಶಕ್ತಿಗಳು ಗ್ರಾಮಸ್ಥರನ್ನು ಗ್ರಾಮದಿಂದ ನಗರಗಳತ್ತ ನೂಕುತ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾವೆ ಮತ್ತು ಕೆಲವು ಶಕ್ತಿಗಳು ಗ್ರಾಮಸ್ಥರನ್ನು ನಗರಗಳ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಬಲವಂತವಾಗಿ ಸೆಳೆಯುತ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾವೆ. ಅವುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಭದಾಯಕ ಉದ್ಯೋಗ, ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸಂಬಳ ಸಿಗುವುದು, ಉನ್ನತ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯ, ಉತ್ತಮ ವೈದ್ಯಕೀಯ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಗೆಯ ಪ್ರತಿಭೆಗೆ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹವನ್ನು ಸಿಗುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಕುಶಲತೆ ಪರಿಗಣಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದು ಮತ್ತು ಜೀವನ ಮಟ್ಟ ಊರ್ಜಿತಗೊಳ್ಳುವ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಗೆಯ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳು, ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ವ್ಯವಹಾರದ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳು ಜನರಿಗೆ ನಗರದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಜನರು ಹಳ್ಳಿಯನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಗರಗಳ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುವುದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಾಣ್ಬೋದು. ಹಾಗೆ the factors that attract or pull people to urban areas, as we have seen that urban centers provide a vast scope for employment opportunities. Effects of rural-urban migration. The effects of rural-urban migration are as follows. Urban growth. It means that towns and cities are spatially expanding. They cover an increasing area of land mainly because there aren't enough housing facilities in the city life, so that new incomers often have to move to shanty towns that are increasing in size and number. Urban growth has paved way for the growth of slums. Here, it means that the cities and towns are growing. We can see more number of density of population in the urban areas. When the people move from rural to urban areas, the cities without the housing facilities, the people move towards the shanty areas, that what we call it as the slums, and even that area is also increasing. Urbanization, it refers to significant increase in the proportion of people in cities in the total population. This has become a major contributing factor to the increase of crimes, slums and prostitution in urban areas. Nevertheless, a great deal of environmental pollution is also caused by the process of migration. Even this factor is also very important, that we can see the significant increase in the population in the city areas, and it has contributed to the negative side of the city, that is what we call it as it has increased in crimes. Crime rates have been increased, growth of slums has been more, and even the prostitution can also be in urban areas. Rural development. This usually means that large numbers of working age people migrate from countryside to earn more money in the city, but then they leave behind the very old and the very young, causing further problems in rural development as the young skilled adults are missing. At the same time, it has to be mentioned that rural urban migration also can have a positive effect on the rural areas by the fact that many migrants once settled in a city remit to their family in the rural area of origin money that could contribute for further development in the village of origin. Governmental measures. In order to overcome the problem of the urban rural migration or rural urban migration, the government, both central and state, have come out with various plans and programs in rural areas. On April 1st, 1989, to converge employment generation, infrastructure development and food security in rural areas, the government integrated National Rural Employment Program (NREP) and the Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program (RLEGP) into a new scheme, Jawahar Rozgar Yojana (RJY). It was revamped and renamed to Jawahar Gramin Samriddhi Yojana JGSY. This was an initiative taken both by central and state government. This is to converge employment generation, to increase employment opportunities for people in rural areas, and to provide food security opportunities for rural people. On 2nd October 1993, Employment Assurance Scheme (EAS) was initiated to provide employment during the lean agricultural season. Later, EAS was emerged with Sampurna Gramina Rozgar Yojana in 2001. On 25th September 2001, to converge employment generation, infrastructure development and food security in rural areas, the government integrated EAS and JGSY into a new scheme called SJRY. Yet again, due to implementation issues, it was emerged with Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, that is what we call it as MNREGA, in 2006. On 5th September 2005, the Parliament received the assent of the President and passed the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act of 2005. Later, it was introduced as MNREGA. It was initiated with the objective of enhancing livelihood security in rural areas by providing at least 100 days of guaranteed wage employment in a financial year to every household whose adult members volunteered to do unskilled manual work and for matters connected therewith and incidental thereto. Along with community participation, the NREGA is to be implemented mainly by the Gram Panchayats. Here, to overcome the food security, to overcome the poverty problem, to overcome the employment problem, to overcome the problem of infrastructure, government came with a new scheme called National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, which was later introduced as NREGA, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. The motivation or the objective behind this was to enhance her livelihood security for the rural peoples by providing at least 100 days of guaranteed wage employment in a year, so that every household whose adult members voluntarily can do the unskilled manual work for the matters which they were connected. Now let us look into gender discrimination. Gender discrimination continues to be an enormous problem within Indian society. Gender discrimination started since the days of our ancestors who had been suppressing women's rights and is perceived to be the norm of the male dominant society. It is the unfair treatment of a person because of gender. Gender discrimination affects both men and women. Traditionally, patriarchal norms have neglected women to the secondary status with the household and workplace. This drastically affects women's health, finance status, education, and political involvement. Now let us look into the definitions of gender discrimination. Before knowing gender discrimination, we should know the meaning of gender. Gender refers to the parallel and socially unequal division into femininity and masculinity. Before gender, we have to know the difference between the sex and the gender. Gender is social construction, and sex, the word sex constitutes the biological construction. Gender, as we know that it is a parallel and socially unequal division into femininity and masculinity. Gender discrimination refers to the practice whereby one sex is given preferential treatment over the other. The practice of giving social importance to the biological differences between men and women can be called as gender discrimination. Here, gender discrimination is based on the biological differences by giving more preference to men and not giving the preferences to women and not treating women as part to men. Thus, gender discrimination means discrimination based on a person's gender or sex, which more often affects girls and women. Because of gender discrimination, girls and women do not have the same opportunities as men are having for education, meaningful careers, political influence, and economic advancement. Different phases of the practices of gender discrimination. Discrimination in socialization. In the process of socialization, girl children are becoming the victims of discrimination. Even today in India, male children are preferred to female children. Female children are subject to discriminatory treatment, especially in rural areas. Discrimination could be seen in matters of relating to food, dress, health, education, domestic work, etc. In India, mother shows preference to male children because during their old age they are protected by them. Discrimination in occupations and public life. When laborers are paid less than the male laborers for the same type of work, much work is extracted from women, but the amount paid to male laborers is more when compared to women. And also discrimination is present in treating them, promotion, increment, facilities, etc. Even in public life also, men is given much importance. Discrimination in the distribution of power and work. The root cause of gender discrimination in Indian society lies in its patriarchy system. According to the famous sociologist Salvia Valby, patriarchy is a system of social structure and practices in which men dominate, oppress, and exploit women. Women were confined only to the domestic work such as cooking, washing, taking care of the children and the family members, cleaning, etc. While exercising power, male dominates in decision-making power and female voice is unheard. Thus, the system of patriarchy finds its validity and sanction in our religious beliefs, whether it is Hindu, Muslim, or any other religion. Women's health is ignored. Women suffer from some distinctive health problems. Women have some maternal functions such as biological process of pregnancy, childbearing, delivering, nursing, feeding, child caring or rearing, etc. The insistence on the family planning has posed many health hazards on women. The use of contraceptives, copper tea, sterilization, abortion, and hormonal drugs has an adverse effect on the health of the women. Women themselves are neglecting their own health in taking care of the children and the family members. They normally consume less food and spend more energy on the work. Next, decline in the female population. Due to the female foeticide and female infanticide, there is an alarming trend which has come to the notice in 2011 census report. The report shows child sex ratio of children between age group of 0 to 6 at 919, which is 8 points lesser than 2001 data of 927. And female sex ratio according to 2011 census is 943. This shows that still there is discrimination against the ratio of the female. Discrimination in education. The literacy rate of female is 65.46% in 2011 census, as it is against 82.14% of male literacy. This gap indicates a wide gender disparity in India, that girls' education is not given much importance. Though the Indian Constitution provides equal rights and privileges for both men and women and makes equal provision to improve the status of women in society, majority of women are still unable to enjoy the rights and opportunities granted to them. Traditionally, value system, low level of literacy, more household responsibilities, lack of awareness, non-availability of proper guidance, low mobility, lack of self-confidence, family discouragement, and advanced science and technology are some of the factors responsible to create gender disparity in the society. The most important causes of gender discrimination are poverty, illiteracy, unemployment, social customs, belief, and anti-female attitude. So, thank you. These are the references. Thank you, one and all.